Hey everybody, I am Bets Golden. Welcome. Today I am going to show you something that is a lot of fun. It is how to use your gel press plate to transfer images that you find in your magazine so that you can use them in your art. Now, I have been playing with this technique for some time, and I have two ways I'm going to show you today. One is my favorite, and the other one is a traditional classic that you may have seen elsewhere on YouTube. And it's hit or miss. It has a lot to do with the glossiness of your paper, as well as how long you let things dry on your gel press and how thick of a coating that you use, yada, yada, yada. So you're going to see what I mean in this video. I really hope that you enjoy this and that you pull out your gel press and some things you already probably have on hand and give this a try. All right, so for the first one, I'm going to do the traditional way. Now, in order to do this, you really need to take a lot into consideration. First of all, don't try to do this with images that you're totally in love with because it just might not work. A lot of it has to do with the type of grade the paper is on. The glossier I've noticed, the better. You want an image that is high contrast. So this doesn't take into consideration the color, just the darks and the lights in this. So I think this one's gonna work. You want to take and lay down your darker color layer of paint first. And I'm using acrylic. Dina Wakley. I've tried the plaid and I prefer the Dina Wakley. Now, this is a little bit too much paint because my brayer is sliding all over. So I'm going to rub some of that off onto my scratch piece of paper like so. And there we go. Now I think we're about right. Then you're going to take your image and you're going to lay it down, and you're going to want to make sure that it has fairly good contact. Really press it in to the gel press plate, making sure that you don't move it. You don't want to smear it or else you're going to get a smeared image. I have learned that the hard way as well. So I'm just making sure that it's there, and then I'm going to lift it up. Now from here, I need to wait for it to dry. Once it dries, I can layer on my next color and then do the lift. With this image, if you don't want any air bubbles or pockets, you want to make sure that as you press your magazine out, you get all those air bubbles out. I personally like the pockets and things like that, so I don't really care if I have pockets of air or not. I think it looks super cool, but that's just my preference. Your preference may be something different. Wherever you are, this may take longer to dry. I'm in the desert, so for me, it's going to dry relatively quick. It may take a lot longer where you are for it to dry. So just keep that in mind. It's better if it gets completely dry than to try to lift it when it's still wet, because then it'll smear together and you'll lose your image. I think we're almost to the point where I'm ready to put on that second layer of color. I'm going to be mixing two lighter colors, and I'm going to be lifting with a piece of color, not color cardstock, with copy paper. So inexpensive. I like how this lifts better than anything else I've tried, but I have seen people do some deli paper and things like that, and that has turned out really cool. So I'm going to take my lemon and just put some lemon, and I'm doing on this my lighter colors on top of this. So my dark is on the bottom and my light is on the top, and it's going to do a reverse image on this so that the picture that I laid down is going to come through first, and these colors are going to be on the back. So I am just brayering off. I don't want to have too much color down. That's about right. And now it's the moment of truth. I'm going to take this down, and now I really, really want to press this down, make sure that every little bit of that, or as much of it as I can, picks up on this. So I'm just really giving it a nice press. I'm going to clean my brayer off on the back. I just like to do that. All right, and then let's go ahead and start to lift and see if this worked. So it kind of did. You can get an outline of her. Let me show you some other examples that I did with this same technique using the paint technique, and you can tell this is out of a Men's Health magazine. No, this is out of a bicycling magazine. This one was out of the Marilyn Monroe magazine. This one was just beautiful, totally worked. This one, I had too much paint on my gel press, and I also hadn't seasoned my gel press. And if you want to know about that, go take a look at the video that I have on what you should do, how to treat your gel press when you first get it. There's a video, I forgot the name of it. I'll link it down below. But I have too much paint and it's not quite seasoned, but I'm still going to use it. I think it's beautiful. Same issue with that one, okay? I'm still going to use it. I like it, but I had just too much paint down. And then I have this one, which picked up some of the image. I mean, you can see the face there, so that's really cool. So there's a lot of variation, a lot of things to take into consideration when you do this technique. It comes down to the shadowing, the contrast of your picture, the glossiness of your magazine. Some magazines work, some magazines don't. I'm still learning that. How much paint you have to lay down on your gel press. It is fun though, you know, once you start to play with it. That one was another really nice one. This one I actually like. It's Marilyn Monroe, and she is singing Happy Birthday, Mr. President to JFK. You probably wouldn't be able to tell just by looking at that, but I know what it is, and I like her silhouette here. Here's another one that I did with this technique, and can you guys tell what that one is? It's her iconic walk in New York where her skirt flies. So I really liked kind of how that one turned out. And then one that surprised me was this one. I had a really nice black and white contrast on the bottom here, and I wasn't expecting to pick up anything up here because I just wasn't looking for it, and it picked up Marilyn. So this is a definite fun play time. Now I'm going to share with you my very favorite way to do these that almost is always surefire. For this technique, I really, after I got done doing that paint technique, it's fun, but I also wanted something that I knew would give me an image and was a little bit quicker than trying to lay out the paint, wait for those layers to dry. So I discovered how you can do this with your Distress Oxides. This doesn't necessarily work with StazOn because that's how I tried it first, but it does work really nicely with your Distress Oxides. So what you're going to want to do, and this is quick, is you're going to take some, rub it off on the side, you're going to pick it up with your brayer like so, and you're going to brayer it over your gel press plate. I am using a 3x5 for this one, and then again my image is a high contrast one, Miss Marilyn Monroe again. I'm going to set it down like so. And I'm going to lift it up, and then right away I'm going to take a piece of paper, lay it down like so. Make sure I have good coverage on that. And then voila. Darn near perfect, right? And the cool thing is, you guys, you can still use this image in your crafting as well because it didn't really ruin it. Whereas with the paint can ruin your paper image. This one, you can do it again. You can't press with it again. I did try to press with it again with some paint after I used Distress Oxide, and it doesn't lift. So, but you can still use this in your art in another way. but isn't that cool? So my recommendation on how to do your transfer image is definitely your Distress Oxides. It's a surefire way every time. Now, I did try to layer some color on top of this. Let me tell you about my mistakes. I tried to do the Distress Oxides and then put paint, let it dry and then put paint on it. Well, Distress Oxides reactivates with water and I can't set it to dry on my gel press plate because that would require heat. So I do not recommend putting paint on it and then lifting it like I did with the 2 steps on the paint process, just because it will reactivate and you'll just get mush. I also went ahead and did some press on my plate with more Distress Oxides. I like mixed a lemonade and a lime and, you know, did this, ran it out, pulled it, and then went ahead and did this down on a darker color, pulled it, and again, it turned to mud. So this is really great. Just one layer, boom, there's your image, and it totally works. I really hope that you guys found this video beneficial. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. Please like and share this video. I really appreciate it. And make sure you subscribe. Until next time, I'm Bets Golden. Happy crafting.